Just say it, man. Don't make me ask 20 questions.
What is the point?
Get to the point.
Just say it already.
Welcome to the Podgram. Jimmy Carr on Joe Rogan 2326. Okay, so back to your work ethic. You spend time doing difficult things.
Yeah.
Like I got the cold plunge thing from listening to you. I was kind of interested in it and kind of chatted to some friends. I tried it and loved it. But you're putting yourself in a very uncomfortable situation in order for benefits later.
Yes.
It's a kind of a sacrifice you make in the moment for something later.
Yeah.
What draws us to that?
If you want to start running, you want to run a marathon, you're like, that's impossible. I can't even run around the block. Well, if you run around the block 3 days in a row, you're going to get better at running around the block. And if you keep that up for a couple months, you're like, holy shit, I'm getting around this block pretty easy now. And then you start expanding your runs. And the next thing you know, running a couple miles a day. And next thing you know, you're entering into a 5K. And the next thing you know, you're running a half marathon. And then you look back on that day where you couldn't even run around the block and you thought running was impossible. So there's a process, and there's a process of improvement. But that process requires you to be uncomfortable, and most people are unwilling to be uncomfortable. So if you are willing to be uncomfortable, you will bypass most human beings in everything you do.
Yeah, it's that thing of the prioritizing now.
Yeah,
seems to be the if you can prioritize later, if you can sort of Chris
delay
Williamson
gratification.
Yeah, well, Chris Williamson's got this great thing. We were chatting about it, me and George Mack.
Love
and
that
him.
guy.
Oh, it's amazing.
He's great.
He's the best. But that thing of 24 hours ahead. Like we've all got to serve someone, right? In life, you got to serve,
right.
And serving yourself in 24 hours is pretty good because it's that thing of booze is the best example. Drinking is you're borrowing happiness from tomorrow.
Yes.
Right. So that in a very simple way, the reason.
Also, it's like predatory credit card rates. Like the kind of rates that you get when you go to college and they give you a credit card and you're a moron and they give it's like 39% interest or something like that. You know?
Something crazy, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's like. It's like you're not just borrowing money. Like your body's like, I'm going to need more. I'm going to need more than you spent.
Yeah. I find that thing of it's whenever I feel anxious or depressed or any of those things, I always sort of think it's invariably with me, it's a hardware problem, not a software problem. So it's like, okay, have I slept? Have I exercised? Have I eaten correctly?
It's a good way to put it, hardware, software.
And then you go, okay, this is a hardware problem. But it's so hard to fix that when you're depressed. It's all very well for us to go, well, go for a run and do some exercise and have a cold plunge. It's so difficult when you're in that. I'm very empathetic to that state. And I wonder, does it help that we slightly pathologize? In our language, we say depressed and anxious, not sad and worried. It's interesting, those things of activities that engender different kind of states. Okay, you play a lot of pool. Now, I don't play much pool, but I do play pool with my friends if they're having a tough time. If you have to have a tough conversation with a friend, if they're down, they're depressed, whatever, this looking each other in the eyes doesn't work so well.
Oh, right. You got to do an activity.
Because there's a lot of thinking time. If it's an emotional conversation, if there's something big going on, a game of pool's kind of fantastic for that because it just slows everything down. You've got a reason to be there for longer. It's kind of, it's playful. And there's kind of a low-level competition going on, but the stakes aren't high. And you kind of have it's like when you're in the car with a buddy, you have a great conversation, side by side.
Kubrick was so,
He said this brilliant thing about movies. He said, if you want to tell a story, make people feel something they don't have a name for. All right, my hot take on AI is we were not made in God's image, but we so wanted there to be a God, we made one in our image. So if you think about the attributes of AI, it's all-knowing, all-powerful, can perform miracles. It lives in a cloud. Sorry, is that God or AI?
Wow.
In our universities, the students are using AI to write their essays, and then the tutors are using AI to mark the essays, and then after 3 years, AI gets the job. It actually seems very fair.
Thanks for listening to this installment of The Podgram. I hope it contains something useful for you.
If you enjoy these selections and are curious about the curator's own thoughts, you can check out my other podcast, Psychic Lube, where I share concise concepts meant to grease the intellectual gears and help get your creative juices flowing. Each episode is an ongoing collaborative project that welcomes listeners to expand or rebut its points by email or comment, the most interesting of which get incorporated through periodic re-recordings. As always, if you're intrigued by today's content, I encourage you to go listen to the full podcast in its original form directly from its creators so that their sponsors keep paying them to make stuff for us and nobody feels compelled to sue me for copyright infringement. Now, get off your phone and go do smart stuff. Have a productive day.